Okay, are you ready for the ultimate Epcot restaurant list? Yes, I'm assuming that you are because you're watching this video. Good for you. Today, we're looking at all the Epcot restaurants and we're ranking every single one of them. We're going to tell you the pros and cons of all of them. If you're headed to Disney World this year, you got to watch this. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Now I gotta admit, these ranking videos are some of our favorites to make, not just because we like talking about all things food, even though that's definitely a big part of it, but also because this gives us the chance to really break down these restaurants, let you know which ones are the best for date nights, the best for breakfast, the best for your family, the best for happy hour pick-me-ups, which are often necessary in Epcot, things like that. So with that being said, if I place one of your absolute favorite restaurants a little bit lower than expected, don't believe for a second I've just tossed it aside and will never look back. There are different preferences for different people. That's why we're focused on all of the pros and cons here. So no matter where these restaurants rank on the list, I'm going to talk about who would enjoy them and who should probably choose something else. And if you want to get the full ranking list of every single restaurant in Epcot, head to disneyfoodblog.com/everyepcot. And we'll hook you up with all this info in an easy to follow printable. Bonus, we'll sign you up for our free newsletter so you can catch our most recent restaurant reviews. By the way, we review restaurants every single week, and news about those restaurant reopenings that are coming down the pike. Now, how these rankings are going to work is we're going to go through every restaurant and I'm going to give you a number out of 10 ranking. So you know sort of exactly where it falls on that 1 to 10 range. 1 is the worst, 10 is the best. Okay, let's dive in. Starting with Acuraseus Royal Banquet Hall. This is over in the Norway Pavilion, and once upon a time, I'd tell you that this was a great place to meet a lot of Disney princesses at once. And that might still be if it ever reopens. But for now, this buffet-style restaurant is closed. So we're going to give you our ranking based on when it, used to be open and assuming it'll open again someday. Acuraseus serves up a bunch of Norwegian-inspired offerings, like a ground beef and pork dumpling dish, cold board salads, rice pudding. Although this restaurant is definitely a lot of fun for kids to see characters like Ariel, Belle, Jasmine, Snow White, Princess Aurora, Mulan, Cinderella, Mary Poppins. Mary, you're a princess in our hearts. The options during lunch and dinner can sometimes be a little bit too adventurous for picky eaters. So when this restaurant reopens, consider booking a reservation here for breakfast if you've got little ones who want, pretty straightforward menu options. So the pros here, lots of princesses to meet, less expensive than Cinderella's Royal Table. So if you're making a choice between the two, this would be a good option. It's an easier reservation to get, it costs less, and you're still meeting a ton of princesses. There are very adventurous lunch and dinner offerings here, like we said. That can be a pro for some folks. Breakfast is also available here. That's great to know. Come in and have an early breakfast before the park opens, and then you're right there in line for Frozen Ever After as soon as the park opens. And there's really cool theming here. It is still a castle. There is castle theming here, even if it's not, vertically very large. Okay, cons for this restaurant. Well, it's currently closed. That's a bummer. It's also relatively pricey. It's not as expensive as Cinderella's Royal Table, but it is pricey. You're meeting a bunch of princesses and Disney knows where their bread is buttered. And while the food is decent, there's no wow factor here. There's not a lot here that people are coming to this restaurant specifically to eat this one thing. So decent food. But again, while adventurous lunch and dinner offerings is a pro for some people, it can be a con for people with a lot of picky eaters in their party. So overall, this restaurant's probably going to be at about an 8 out of 10 for us. Okay, next up is Beer Garden Restaurant. This is one of the best restaurants to accommodate a larger travel party. It's in the Germany Pavilion, and it's a German buffet that celebrates Oktoberfest every day of the year. The place has really long tables with 8 seats per table, so if you've got a larger party, this is perfect. If you have a much smaller party, you're going to be seated with other people. Maybe. It depends on how COVID policies shake out, but before COVID, you would be sat with other groups of people at the table. So if you're one of those folks who's an introvert like me, and you don't necessarily want to have to chat with Bill and Mary, from San Diego through your whole lunch. I get it. Just know that you might be seated with other strangers. at this restaurant. But the theming here is very cool. It's set to look like you're outdoors. So you're at kind of an outdoor Oktoberfest extravaganza, even though you're all indoors. They have like the moon up there and stuff, and they've got lots of greenery and trees and stuff. It's really neat. But it's like a nighttime Oktoberfest party all the time here at Beer Garden. Now there's lots of German favorite dishes like bratwurst and schnitzel and spätzle and nudelgratin, which is delicious. And of course there's polka. Live polka. Now that's a party. Beer Garden is great for big families, groups looking for an upbeat atmosphere, all you can eat food. Sometimes you can go out on the dance floor, but fair warning, this is a lot of food and it's really heavy food. So if you pay the buffet price of $46 per adult, $25 for kid, then you're gonna want to get your money's worth. So make sure you're super hungry and you're not riding like Mission Space after this. And if you've got your lederhosen at the ready, then this is definitely the party for you. Okay, pros. This is going to be great for large travel parties, like I've said like 7 times already. It's fun and upbeat atmosphere. There's live music. If you've never seen an Alpenhorn used, you will now. It's very, very cool. And it's all you can eat. Cons, it can be too heavy of a meal for the middle of a park day. Potential of being seated with other families if you have a smaller party, but that could change depending on the health regulations. And super limited vegan options here as well. I love this restaurant. I think it's a blast and so much fun. But again, if you don't want to be seated next to other parties, if you're not really a huge fan of, bratwurst, I get it. So overall, we're going to put this at 7.5 out of 10. Okay, this next one is going to show you just how serious we are about ranking every Epcot restaurant. Yes, we're going to even talk about the kiosks, my friends. Those little tiny kiosks that you don't even know are there. We're going to talk about them for you because you need to know everything. All right, next we're going to Block and Hans. Block and Hans is a beer kiosk located in the American Adventure Pavilion. There's nothing too fancy going on here, just a standard selection of beers and Mickey pretzels with plastic cheese sometimes. This kiosk also serves up seasonal brews throughout the year, so if you're a beer connoisseur, you may want to check and see what's available during your visit. And they may come out with 1 or 2 kind of placard editions, meaning they have a little temporary menu option there during festivals once in a while. Pros here, guaranteed craft beers, rotating brews, sometimes plastic cheese. Cons, not much else going on here. You get what you get. And of course, there's no seating. Our ranking is about a 6 out of 10 because, again, there's not much going on here. But if you're a craft brew fan, definitely check it out. Okay, next we're headed to Chefs de France. And if you can guess where this restaurant is located, we'll give you 3 guesses and the first 2 don't count. We're just messing with you. Chefs de France is a table service, meaning a sit-down restaurant located in the France Pavilion. This restaurant has a romantic air that I fall in love with every time I visit. It's like a quick escape from all the theme park hustle and bustle. It really feels like you are on the banks of the Seine or sitting in a bistro on the Champs-Élysées. No, see how much I know about Paris? Lots. And there's a variety of French cuisine to choose from, but it's not gonna be too unfamiliar to you. It's real heavy on the cheese. There's steaks and chicken. And of course, you got some really delicious escargot. You definitely want to try that if you are at Chefs de France. Now, it's not a snarf it down and go restaurant. You're expected to relax and take your time here a little bit as you enjoy the different European flavors. So if you need to eat in a jiffy, there are a few other options in the France Pavilion that you can hit instead. Pros here, classic French options. Theming is excellent. You really feel like you're in France. It's an escape from the theme parks if you're being a little overwhelmed, and it's great for a romantic dinner that's not going to break the bank. Cons, not for guests in a hurry. Service can be a little bit slow here. Also, only French cuisine is served here, which could be a pro for you, but if you've got pickier eaters, maybe it's not. I can remember when I was, 5 years old and we would go to Epcot and my mom would want to go to Chefs de France because, yes, it was there even way back then. And it freaked me out a little bit as a 5-year-old because I was a super picky eater and I wasn't sure I'd find anything I liked. And I was also kind of a little bit of a brat, so I think I would be vocal about it if there wasn't food that I liked, which is horrible. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I apologize. So it may not be the best option for families with really, really little kids who aren't willing to try maybe noodles with cheese that they're not experienced with. Okay, overall, 8 out of 10 on this one. We really like it. Okay, next on our list, Choza de Margarita. The Mexico Pavilion doesn't hurt for good margs, that's for sure. Choza is an outdoor margarita bar that not only serves up tasty margs like the strawberry and mango fiesta margarita, but also serves up a selection of grab-and-go eats like tacos and nachos and non-alcoholic beverages. Those of us who are super old school Epcot will remember the original margarita stand at the Mexico Pavilion 100 years ago, and then they took that away and we were super sad. And now the margs here are kind of a mix between the old margarita stand margaritas like the Fiesta and some of the margaritas that you can get in Cava Del Tequila inside. So you've got some kind of, I guess I would call them lower end margaritas and higher end margaritas. I don't know, maybe. We'll see what you guys have to say in the comments. But as far as I'm concerned, they're all delicious and they're all worth getting. They're refreshing and fruity. Sometimes they can be really fun and seasonal, and they're also extremely popular. So lines for this location can get long. And you can't mobile order right now from Choza de Margarita, which is a bummer. So pros, margs, good ones. Mexican street food is super yummy too. Cons, not worth the wait if you're not a margarita fan, obviously. And there's not a lot of seating here, so you gotta take your marg and go. Also, again, the lines can get long. So if you want a margarita, aim for sort of when they first open or sometime that's not in the middle of the heat of the day, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, overall on this one, we're gonna give it a 7 out of 10 because we're just so happy it's there and it exists and we can get those margaritas outside the pyramid as well as inside. Okay, number 6 on our list, Cool Wash. You don't even know what that is, do you? No, most of us don't. Okay, in the past, the Cool Wash kiosk was a place to grab a slushie to cool you down. It was basically like an outdoor 7-Eleven. It's kind of what was going on with Cool Wash. It's right next to Test Track. That's why it's called Cool Wash. It's kind of set up as a play on the Test Track theming. But this kiosk is, of course, closed right now. It's been closed for a very, very long time, and we'll continue to keep you updated if anything changes. So the pros here, it's a place to get your slushie fix. And a couple of years back, they actually kind of had customizable slushies, and you could like drop cool drop-ins into your slushie and stuff, and that was awesome. So we'll keep you updated if that sort of comes back. The cons, not much available here. It's just not really destination worthy. So overall, this guy's a 4.5 out of 10. Coral Reef Restaurant is next. Oh boy, here we go. Coral Reef is located in the World Nature section of the park, tucked behind the seas with Nemo and Friends dark ride. The theming here is top notch. Really, dining here is never boring because you're constantly surrounded by thousands of fish. You are literally inside the Living Seas aquarium. And granted, they've got a hearty menu of different seafood appetizers and entrees, lobster bisques, seared mahi-mahi, shrimp and grits, and they have non-seafood options as well if you, like us, don't really want to be watching the fish and eating the fish at the same time. But this restaurant is hit and miss. It's the definition of hit and miss. So much so that it's been knocked way down the list for us in terms of quality, which makes me sad because there's a lot of money you're paying on a meal that might be satisfying. I don't like those odds. If you have kiddos that tend to get restless at restaurants and you're looking for an Epcot table service location that'll keep them entertained for a bit, then Coral Reef might be for you because they can just watch the animals and the fish and the turtles and the sharks, and that's super cool. And they will just press their noses up against that aquarium wall and stare at it the whole time. And that's great because then maybe you can, get a little respite and eat some food. But if you're looking for really, really good food that's worth the money that you're paying, maybe go elsewhere. Okay, pros, immersive atmosphere, good for families with young kids. They'll love that aquarium, and has the potential of serving awesome food. It has in the past. We've had it. We've seen it. Cons, it's pricey, and there's very inconsistent quality. Some people get a little weirded out that they're watching the fish and eating the fish at the same time. So overall on this table service restaurant, it's going to be a 5.5 out of 10. Okay, next on our list, the Crepes à Emporter by La Creperie De Perry. Listen, if I could pick my neighbors, I'd choose a crepe place, because who wouldn't want to live next door to a counter service creperie? This is one of the newest members on the France Pavilion restaurant scene, along with its big sister restaurant, Creperie De Perry. But this counter service doesn't just copy the crepes of its table service counterpart. There are a variety of different options for you to choose from here that you can't get at the sit-down location, like the cream of brie cheese galette and the red berries crepe. You can also order a variety of on-the-go hard ciders here, which complement the galettes and crepes nicely. No, you're not going to get to sit and enjoy your crepe in an air-conditioned restaurant, but this could wind up being the perfect light lunch on the go before or after you jump on Remy's Ratatouille adventure. Pros on this one, great for guests who want a speedy, savory, or dessert crepe, something quick and on the go. Unique dining option, and it's affordable. Cons, limited menu that's smaller than a table service menu. Lighter option, which isn't the best for those who've worked up an appetite around the showcase, but it's perfect for you if you just ate at Beer Garden and you're like, I don't think I can handle dinner. And if you're not a buckwheat fan, since the galettes are made with buckwheat. So unless you want a dessert crepe, any savory crepes are going to be with those buckwheat galettes. Okay, overall on this one, 7.5 out of 10. It's a good addition. We're happy it's here. And it's a nice light snack that's going to be unique and not just a bag of chips. Okay, coming up next, a Fife and Drum Tavern and the funnel cake stand. Now, Bria says we can separate these if you'd like, but I'm okay with just grouping them together. They're both pretty straightforward, and they're both in the American Adventure Pavilion. Fife and Drum Tavern is not here to impress. It's just here to provide you with turkey legs and popcorn and maybe a couple of slushes. Pretty straightforward, simple, effective. Meanwhile, the funnel cake stand does what funnel cake stands do best. They provide you with fried powdered sugar goodness. And you can pick up a standard funnel cake here, or you can get one with fun toppings like chocolate sauce, vanilla ice cream, and cookies and cream. They also release limited edition funnel cakes during the Epcot festivals. So if you're looking for a unique treat with familiar vibes that's seasonal and updated, then this is a good option during festivals as well. They always have mini funnel cakes, so they're going to be a little bit smaller than the big giant funnel cakes. Now note that during the festivals, the lines at the funnel cake stand can get long. Okay, pros on these. Theme park staples, good stop for picky eaters. If you want a quick on-the-go snack, go for it. Cons, again, theme park staples, not too adventurous, nothing too unique, nothing too interesting. Overall on this one, I'm going to put these at a 6 out of 10, but during festivals, I'll give that funnel cake an extra bump up to a 7. All right, next on our list, I'm so happy. I'm just smiling from ear to ear, Garden Grill Restaurant. Looking for the best restaurant to take your family to? There's a reason why Garden Grill is so high up on my list. Garden Grill is located on the second floor of the Land Building in Epcot's World Nature area. There are a few key reasons why families are going to love eating here. 1, the restaurant rotates. Yeah, not kidding. While you're dining, the restaurant's going to spin slowly directly over the scenes from the Living with the Land boat ride directly below you. 2, the options are pretty straightforward. All the tables are going to be served a family-style Chippendale harvest feast featuring items like garden salad, creamy mashed potatoes, turkey and beef, berry shortcake, plus several other comfort food side dishes you can share with the whole group. By the way, here's a tip. The kids menu has mac and cheese, so if you want to go ahead and order that as a side, go for it. And third reason to eat here, it's character dining. So you're going to be able to meet Farmer Mickey, Farmer Pluto, Farmer Chippen, Farmer Dale while chowing down in this rotating restaurant. It is so much fun, and because it's a smaller character meal, that means there's fewer tables and there's fewer people for the characters to go see. So you're going to see these characters 75 times. Like, they come around so often. So if you have little kids who don't ever get tired of seeing their favorite friends, this is another really good reason to dine here. But the obligatory word of warning, the food here is fresh and very well done, excellent food. The offerings aren't super unique though, and Epcot is a place that's jam-packed with unique options. So if you'd rather experience something more adventurous, then you may want to jump off this dining carousel and venture someplace else. There, I said it. But that's the last thing I'm going to say negatively about this restaurant. Okay, pros. This is great for families. You get to check off the boxes of excellent food, doesn't cost too much, and you get to see Mickey Mouse like a million times. It's a unique atmosphere, and it's fun for kids because you're literally spinning. That's so cool. Good selection for picky eaters here, but adventurous eaters are not going to be upset because it's just really good food. Cons, not the best for most adventurous eaters, but still, I don't think anybody's going to be mad at these options. And the other con is it's not serving breakfast at this time, which is a bummer because it's a really good breakfast option as well. But that should go away soon as a con, I hope, fingers crossed. Overall, I'm going to give this restaurant a 9.5 out of 10. Why is it not a 10 out of 10? Well, like I said, maybe you don't want a character meal. Maybe you don't want a spinning restaurant. Maybe you don't want more traditional food. You want more unique or adventurous food. Okay, then I'll knock off 0.5. But otherwise, I love this place. Okay, next on our list, Gelateria Toscana. Now, this has not been a dessert quick service location in the Italy Pavilion for long. It's brand new. Its outer theming makes it look like it's always belonged, though. Here you're going to be able to pick up gelati, sorbetti, gelati floats, and it'll help you cool down on a hot Orlando day. Some gelato portions, like the Coppa Delizia, are going to provide you with more bang for your buck than the other options, like the itty bitty espresso affogato that costs a whopping $9.75 for a couple of bites. So, pros on this one, good for gelato fans, has a selection of gluten-free and plant-based options as well. Cons, it's really expensive, like really expensive. You can get cold treats elsewhere for less. All right, overall on this one, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. But on the flip side, let's head to Joy of Tea at the China Pavilion. This is an unassuming kiosk, but it's going to hook you up with boba, cocktails, and $5 pork egg rolls. The Tipsy Ducks in Love specialty cocktail is not only delicious, but super fun to tell people you're drinking. What you got there? Oh, this? This is the Tipsy Ducks in Love. Seriously, I can shake the hand of the creative soul behind that cocktail. They came up with it years ago. We've loved it ever since. It's genius. And this is my favorite place to hit up for drinks in the China Pavilion, so I don't pass it on by, especially if you're a fan of fruity milk boba teas and cocktails with really fun names. But if you're looking for a larger array of snacks, you might be better off grabbing some unique chip flavors in the China Pavilion's flagship gift shop. The egg rolls aren't bad here, and when they do have their curry chicken bites here, those are really good too. But again, nothing to sort of write home about, but compared to the other fast food at the China Pavilion, I'd choose this. So pros, unique drinks, alcoholic and non. Nice choice for boba fans. Love the tea options here. And cons, currently there's only one snack to choose from, but I imagine that menu will expand because it always has been broader in the past. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Now we're headed over to Japan for Kabuki Cafe. Here's a unique and refreshing treat for you. Kabuki is a counter service location located in the Japan Pavilion, like I said. This is where you're going to find your specialty kakigori. And what is kakigori? It's basically shaved ice topped with fruit syrup and or sweet milk. Now, if you're in the mood for something savory to go along with your shave ice, Kabuki Cafe also has a small selection of sushi for you to choose from. You can also get Kirin frozen beer here. I know it kind of sounds like a bizarre concept, but the beer itself isn't frozen. The head on the glass is essentially super aerated and chilled. So the foam itself is frozen and works sort of as a mini refrigerator, keeping the liquid beer beneath colder for longer. Pretty cool, huh? This definitely isn't a place you're going to want to hit up if you're starving, but it's a nice afternoon treat. Pros on this one, super unique snacks and drink offerings, great for those looking for a cool treat on a hot afternoon. Cons can be a little too adventurous for some, you don't have a lot of sushi fans in your group, and it's also not a place that's going to fill you up. But kakigori is a classic Epcot treat. Everybody loves it. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Here we go to Caramel Kusha. 3 words, best snacks ever, especially if you're a caramel fan. Caramel Kusha is located in the German Pavilion. If you've been to Epcot before, you'll know this location by the smell alone. The sweet scent of house-made caramel wafts through this quick service and entices guests before you even get the chance to walk over the threshold. Now, this is a Werther's store, so the caramel being used is Werther's caramel. Now, some of my favorite snacks here are the caramel-covered crispy treats. They're okay. The caramel corn, duh. The chocolate-covered caramels, delicious. The caramel butter bars, that's my favorite. If you're going to put caramel and butter in the same treat name, I'm definitely going to get that treat. Now, if you're searching for long-lasting sustenance that's not primarily sugar-based, then you're at the wrong place. But if you're looking for caramel-coated snacks that will haunt your dreams for years to come, you're welcome. You've found it. Congratulations. Get me a couple of butter bars while you're there. Pros, best snack location in Epcot, I think, in my humble opinion. Fresh house-made caramel treats, mobile order capabilities. That's right, you can mobile order from here, so you don't have to wait in the long line. That's awesome. Cons, just desserts here. Can't really get anything savory. You can get busy throughout the day. That's why you're going to want to mobile order. And it's not great for guests who aren't big into sweets, obviously. So I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. First 10 out of 10 of the list so far. Love it here. Okay, next on our list, Katsura Grill. Who knew that a section of a Disney park could be so peaceful? You'll find this quick service location, Katsura Grill, in the Japan Pavilion, but you've got to walk up this very zen-like stairway, and there's a zen garden, a red footbridge, koi ponds, overhead lanterns. It's fascinating up there. If you haven't been up there, please go because it's so relaxing. Now, this is a fast food location, so when you walk into Katsura Grill, it kind of feels like a McDonald's in there, the way it's set up. And the options are pretty basic. Chicken teriyaki, different sushi combos, but basic doesn't equal bad. Sometimes simpler options are the way to go. That being said, if you're looking for something that reminds you a little bit less of a mall food court Japanese fast food place, then you can find other options in the Japan Pavilion that will do that. So pros, best for outdoor dining. It's really, really wonderful outdoor seating area. There's also an indoor seating area though, so don't worry about that. And there's quick, easy, and tasty options. And cons, it can be too basic for some who maybe are looking for something a little bit more exotic in the Japan Pavilion. And sometimes the dishes just sort of kind of taste a little pre-made, sort of, like I said, mall food court. So overall, we're going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Okay, here's another World Showcase bakery that gets the DFB seal of approval. Kringle Bakery og Cafe is in the Norway Pavilion and features a ton of unique and extremely popular pastry selections, like that sugar-coated trollhorn pastry and the vanilla cream-filled school bread, one of my favorites. You can also pick up a Viking coffee here. Viking coffees come hot or frozen and are made with Bailey's Irish Cream or Camorra coffee liqueur. Again, this is more of a place to get your sweet stuff rather than your savory, substantial lunchtime meal, but there are definitely sandwiches and salads here. Some of them even feature cold fish. So there you go. The pros here, unique and delicious pastries and some more substantial options if that's what you're searching for. Also, different coffees, alcoholic and non, for you to choose from that will allow you to skip the Starbucks crowds. This opens when the park does, which isn't the case for all Epcot restaurants in World Showcase, so that's great. But the cons here are that there's no indoor seating. All the seating is outdoors, although it is covered, and it can get pretty cramped out there if it's stormy or if it's really, really hot and someone just wants to take a break in the shade. That isn't always going to offer a lot of empty tables. And another con that's not usually a con. Right now, the menu doesn't list any savory options, so hopefully that menu will expand a little bit more, get those sandwiches and salads back going. But for right this minute, depending on supply issues and other potential COVID problems, they don't have those on the menu at the moment. So overall on Kringle, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's definitely a winner, but no indoor seating can be problematic. Next on our list, La Cantina de San Angel. There's one thing for sure you can say about the Mexico Pavilion when it comes to food. They've got you covered. The quick service location, La Cantina, neighbors the table service location, Hacienda De San Angel. La Cantina might borrow a few menu items from its neighbor for its own little counter service location, like the empanadas, churros, and tacos, but that's not all it borrows. If you grab a table at the edge of this cantina, you're going to get a great view of the World Showcase Lagoon, meaning you can snag a meal and table here before Harmonious, and you might be able to experience dinner and a show on your budget. That being said, these tables get taken quickly by guests with the same idea. You might see some folks staking out these tables hours before Harmonious begins, so if this is something you want to try, please be aware that that does happen. Pros for this place, on-the-go tacos, beautiful lakeside views and outdoor seating, more unique options from standard theme park offerings. Cons, seating gets packed around lunch and dinner and fireworks, and lines can get hectic during peak season here. Also, no indoor seating and no mobile order. Overall, we're going to give Cantina 7 out of 10. Next, the Cava Del Tequila. You want happy hour? The Mexico Pavilion will give you happy hour. What better way to start your drinking around the world endeavors than by kicking things off at La Cava Del Tequila? The bar is located inside the Mexico Pyramid and serves up a variety of tapas and, of course, tequila drinks. The margaritas are plentiful here. We've seen traditional margaritas, limited edition celebrity-inspired ones, and even secret menu margs like that Abuelita's Mudslide, aka the ice cream margarita. This place can get poppin', y'all. It's not a big location, so it tends to fill up quickly in the evenings. If you want a unique margarita but don't want to mess with the crowds here, try going earlier in the day rather than later. Okay, the pros for this place: best selection of alcoholic beverages, over 200 tequilas and margarita varieties. You get to drink in the AC, and you can stand in the to-go line, so your drink can be gotten to go as well. Cons, limited seating, can only hold 30 guests at a time. Super busy later in the evening, or on rainy days, or on festival days, or on busy days, and there aren't a lot of food options here. Sometimes they have even fewer when it gets busier, so definitely keep an eye on the menu on the website. If you're expecting to go sit down and have a snack here, they definitely don't have full meals here. La Cava Del Tequila gets an 8 out of 10 from us. Okay, number 19 on our list, La Creperie De Perry. Bonjour, new best friend. La Creperie is a new table service restaurant located in the France Pavilion and serves up a mixture of different galettes and crepes, just like its next door buddy, the counter service location. Now, I gotta say, this restaurant is pretty sleek, but as far as having super exciting Disney theming going on, it definitely doesn't. It looks very bare bones, very clean, and if you just walked in here, you would not know you were in Disney World. But this table service restaurant still has a lot going for it. The options are tasty, the prices aren't outrageous, and reservations aren't hard to snag here. This isn't necessarily the best food the France Pavilion has to offer, but the food is satisfying and definitely gives you a nice selection of different sweet and savory choices. So pros, best for a last-minute table service location, variety of unique galettes and crepes, and it's affordable. Cons, theming is pretty bland, not the best for those who aren't fans of French fare, and also not the best for those who don't enjoy buckwheat, since again, that's what the savory courses are served on. This one gets a 7 out of 10. Next is La Hacienda De San Angel, which we just talked about its neighbor, Cantina. So this is Mexican cuisine, table service, air conditioning, lakeside views, beautiful restaurant. Out of the food locations in Mexico, this is my favorite. This is another stellar table service location for a romantic evening in Epcot. It serves up my favorite soup in the whole world, the crema de elote, which is such a good corn soup. They've got Bria's favorite dessert, the empanada de manzana. She definitely wants me to tell you about that. There's meaty, cheesy skillets, hearty chicken entrees, of course margaritas, and lots of melted cheese. Now, granted, this restaurant hasn't always been a hit for us 100% all the time. It's let us down once or twice in the past. It is pretty pricey, but more often than not, it keeps a solid track record of delicious Mexican eats. And if you're here while Harmonious is happening, you've got the chance to watch the show while you dine. Just make sure to make reservations ahead of time and ask your server for a window seat. A window seat isn't guaranteed during your visit, but you definitely want to ask when you check in to get that fireworks view. Pros here, romantic vibes for couples, new view of World Showcase Lagoon and potential fireworks view, well-made Mexican cuisine. Cons are it's pricey, really pricey, and it's not the best option if you're looking for something out of your comfort zone. You could probably order similar dishes at a nice Mexican restaurant back home. And of course, fireworks seating is not guaranteed. Just because you make a reservation at fireworks time doesn't mean you're going to have a great view of them. We're going to give this one 8 out of 10. Okay, after an awesome table service Mexican restaurant, we're going to a teeny tiny cart in the middle of the land. We're going to keep this one short, sweet, and to the point. The Land Cart is a World Nature counter service location that provides quick on-the-go options like Mickey pretzels and chilled veggies and hummus. It's easy to overlook this one, but if you're facing the Land Pavilion, it is located several yards to the left, in between the land and Journey into Imagination. Pros provides basic snacks in Mickey pretzel location, and there are usually some healthier snacks here too. Cons, it's easily overlooked, and the snacks served here are much cheaper if you buy them ahead of time and bring them to the park with you. We're going to give this one a 4 out of 10. Next is Lardison De Gloss. I'm so excited to talk about this one. Lardison De Gloss, located in the France Pavilion, is home to some really unique ice cream treats. The croque glacé, which is basically an ice cream sandwich pressed between a brioche bun like an ice cream panini. It's really, really good. And you've got your warm brioche, your cool ice cream, and your all-around perfect sweet treat. Along with this, you can order 16 different ice cream flavors at this little shop. You can also order specialty alcoholic floats like an ice cream martini served with Grand Marnier. There are ice cream macarons, lots and lots of good stuff. Pros, fantastic assortment of ice cream, sorbets, and ice cream inspired treats. Cons, you want something savory, you gotta keep moving right along. This one is a 9 out of 10. It's a little pricey, but it's very unique and it's delicious. Another one of my favorites up next, Lasallia Steakhouse. This is absolutely one of my favorite restaurants in Epcot, and it's in the Canada Pavilion. So if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, then this probably doesn't come as a shock that I really, really like this place. It's a signature restaurant. It not only has the best cuts of steak in the park, but it has some of the best side dishes on property, in my opinion. Every time I visited, the service has been decent to good, and the food has been delightful, and I always love to head back here. So along with the steak cuts, Lasallier's got other top-notch options. Signature poutine, Canadian cheddar cheese soup, which is a classic, artisan cheese and charcuterie plates. Sometimes they even have a beef fat candle on this, so you can melt the candle and drip the beef fat all over. I know, you think it's bad, but it's really, really good, so heads up. put it on your bucket list. They also have a wonderful mushroom risotto. They've got lots and lots of really great side dishes here. Lasallia is a solid option for couples looking for a romantic dinner in the park. It's a quiet, intimate restaurant. The vibe here is like a wine cellar. It's cozy, low ceilings. The bathroom is literally from 1982, and it kind of looks like it has a two-way mirror in it, which I don't understand. I don't think it does. I think that would be illegal, but it kind of looks like that. But anyway, regardless, I love this place because I love the food, and I am definitely food motivated. So if you can go to Lasallia, I recommend it. So pros, obviously, top tier dishes, great entrees, great appetizers, great side dishes. Cozy vibe. Cons, not the best for families with smaller kiddos maybe. Super pricey because it's a signature restaurant now that used to not be a signature restaurant and you could never get a reservation. Now that it costs as much as it does, it's relatively easy to get a reservation. And these are very heavy portions. Like, we warned you about eating at Beer Garden in the middle of a hot Epcot summer. Well, eating a huge steak and mushroom risotto in the middle of a hot Epcot summer might sound even worse. So heads up about that. But overall, I am going to give this a 9.5 out of 10 because I really love it. Okay, Regal. Over in the France Pavilion again, you're going to find a wonderful bakery tucked back by the Impressions de France attraction. This bakery is easy to overlook because the entrance is relatively small, but if you step inside, you'll see it is absolutely massive. There's a display case filled with different pastries, desserts, and croissant sandwiches. You will think you are in heaven. Now, what's wonderful about Regal, besides all of this delicious food, is that a lot of the items on the menu are affordable in Disney terms. You can snag yourself a whole baguette, like a freshly made baguette, like they made it that morning, for under $5 if you'd like, or you can order a creme brulee for $4.95. Even the sandwich prices aren't terrible and usually range from $7 to $11 each. And this is one of the best spots to grab a breakfast pastry on the go, especially if you're entering the park through the international gateway between France and the UK Pavilion instead of up front near Spaceship Earth. Just note that some parts of the day seating inside can be very limited and seating outside can be even more limited. But if you're ordering something to eat on the go, then the limited seating shouldn't scare you away. Just don't forget that Regal isn't exactly going to be the type of quick service that you'll be able to kick up your feet in and breathe for a second. So pros here, best breakfast stop, affordable options. You can even get mimosas at 9 a.m. and it's a delicious and different option for you. Lots of variety. Cons, the seating can get crowded, there's no mobile ordering available, and lines can get really long during lunch and dinner. But overall, this is a 9 out of 10 for us. Next on our list is back in France, Les Vins des Chefs de France. If you're doing the Drinking Around the World Challenge, there's a good chance you're going to wind up here when you reach the France Pavilion. Les Vins is the kiosk where you'll find the Grand Marnier slush and the Grey Goose lemon slush, both of which you can supersize, which I wouldn't recommend if you really are drinking around the world because that would be dangerous. But these drinks are sweet, not overpoweringly so. It's kind of an alcoholic slush going on. You'll probably need a water once you've finished one since the citrusy flavor can wind up coating your throat, but if you'd rather have something a little more basic, beers and wines are also available for purchase here too. So the pros are those grown-up slushies. We've loved them forever. They're the best cocktails on the go. The cons, there's often a line here and there's no food options available. So we're going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Okay, here's the counter service restaurant with a beautiful name, but some pretty forgettable food. Yep, it's the Lotus Blossom Cafe. It's over in the China Pavilion, and it serves your standard Chinese takeout options like fried rice, sweet and sour chicken. You get it. Now, you're not going to be blown away by anything here, but if you're looking more for a familiar comfort food meal and not necessarily a fine dining experience, then go ahead and dig in. This is going to be fast food Chinese. It's good for picky eaters who still want to eat in the World Showcase, and the other pro is it's affordable and fast. Seating is kind of half indoors and half outdoors. So the farther in you go, the more you're going to feel the AC. Cons, very basic takeout Chinese and not exactly authentic. Overall, we're going to give this one a 5.5 out of 10. And we're back in the France Pavilion because did you notice there's just a lot of restaurants there? So now we're going to talk about Monsieur Paul. Although this signature restaurant is temporarily unavailable, they have not reopened yet since the 2020 COVID closures. We've enjoyed our past fine dining experiences here, even though they've been too pricey. The menu gives you a variety of ways to dine. You can choose to order strictly a la carte options, try a prefix tasting menu, or you can add a wine pairing to your overall experience. The amount you decide to splurge is all up to you. Some favorite previous dishes here include items like the escargot, roasted duck, and lobster thermidor, but be careful. If you make a reservation here, you've got to adhere to the dress codes, since this is a more upscale dining establishment. The dress code isn't anything unreasonable. They're not forcing you to wear an evening gown or full tux or anything like that. You just can't wear things like tank tops, flip-flops, and torn clothing. If you're wearing any of that into Epcot, no worries, just make sure you got a change of clothes for Monsieur Paul when your reservation is ready. Pros here, signature dining, quiet romantic atmosphere, and a very few tables have some decent fireworks viewing, although France happens to be in front of a bunch of trees that sort of block your view out there to the lagoon, but you will be able to see some fireworks through the windows. And of course, if you like pristine French cuisine, then this is a great place for you. Cons: this is a signature restaurant. It's going to take some time. You're going to want to slowly enjoy your meal, and they're not going to rush you out of here. So be sure to block off a good amount of time to dine here. It's probably a good idea to make a reservation towards the end of the evening so you can take your time eating here and not have to rush out to get back to the park. The other big con, it is very pricey. I still haven't gotten over paying $30 for a bowl of soup. I know that it was oxtail. I know it's very, very important, but it was a lot. So good food, but it comes at a price, so be prepared. The other con is it's still closed, so fingers crossed this will open again soon. We give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, we're about halfway through, so you don't have to take notes on any of these details about these restaurants. Don't forget to grab the full list at disneyfoodblog.com/every-Epcot. Okay, next restaurant, we're back in China to Nine Dragons Restaurant. Once again, we've got a beautiful interior, beautiful exterior, beautiful name, lovely service, and hit or miss food. The Nine Dragons table service restaurant that more than likely will serve you better food than your hometown Chinese cuisine, unless you've got a 5-star Chinese cuisine restaurant back home. But as far as setting the bar for dining experiences in Epcot, this one does not. That being said, if you're looking for some last-minute dining reservations, Nine Dragons is usually available, so don't forget about it. And the food isn't bad. It's just pretty much what you've had at other chain Chinese restaurants around the country. So pros, great for last-minute dining reservations, beautiful setting. The service is usually great, and it's a good one for people who are actually looking for spicy food, because, usually Disney spicy is not exactly spicy, but you can get some spicier stuff here. Now the cons, the food doesn't really stand out, it's not super memorable, and there are extremely limited desserts or mixed drinks available here. So if you're here for cocktails or desserts, this isn't going to do it for you. I will say, I love the spinach noodles. I say that every time I talk about this restaurant. So I'm going to give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Now, if you're walking through the Morocco Pavilion, there's a good chance you've completely overlooked the Oasis Sweets and Sips window. And that makes me sad for you because this place can be really, really unique. Do the cool kids still say slaps? Do we need to say that? I don't know. I don't think so. Items you're going to find here are things like baklava, almond crescent cookies, unique alcoholic and non-alcoholic mixed drinks. Those of you who remember the little bakery case at the back of Tangerine Cafe back in the day, that kind of moved out here in the front. Now, I'd probably still prefer a cocktail or other alcoholic beverage in France or Mexico if given the choice, but if you want to shake things up a little bit on your next trip and try something new, then this little window in Morocco could provide something unique or interesting. So pros, this is best for those who are frequent Disney flyers and want to experience something new, and there's affordable snacks here. Cons, better mixed drinks at other pavilions for sure, and drinks are a bit more costly as well. So overall, I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. Okay, now let's head to the Canada popcorn cart. This little Canada Pavilion cart has made a name for itself in the DFB books. The Canada popcorn cart is where you're going to find that oh so famous maple popcorn I love to rave about. Now, is this popcorn as good as the caramel corn you're going to find at Karamokusha in Germany? No, but the maple popcorn is included in your $2.25 popcorn bucket refills. So if you need to break up the salty snacks with something more on the sweet side, Canada's here to save the day. So the pros here, $2.25 maple popcorn refills. And it's a unique popcorn treat for those who enjoy kettle corn. Sometimes there are specialty cocktails here as well. Cons, better popcorn at Karamokusha, but they set the bar really high over there, and not great for those who don't like sweet added to their usual salty treats. Overall, I'm going to give this guy a 6 out of 10. Okay, Refreshment Outpost and Refreshment Port. These are two very different things, but I'm going to talk about them together because I want you to understand they're two different things. Does that make sense or does that not? Okay. So Refreshment Outpost is located in the African Outpost section of the World Showcase between China and Germany, while the Refreshment Port is located just outside the Canada Pavilion, kind of between the Starbucks location and the Canada Pavilion, okay? Both offer basic treats and snacks. Refreshment Port has a lot more good stuff than Refreshment Outpost. Refreshment Port is where you want to go if you love poutine. Refreshment Outpost is your spot if you like hot dogs and Dole Whip. During the Epcot festivals, these two locations will have some different items, so it's usually worth taking a look as you pass by. Pros, good place to grab a quick snack that is sometimes a bit more special than plain old chicken nuggets or a hot dog. Cons, sometimes it's just plain old chicken nuggets or a hot dog, though Refreshment Port always has some type of poutine. So Refreshment Port, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I love poutine. Refreshment Outpost, 5 out of 10, even though they've got Dole Whip. Someplace else usually has Dole Whip during festivals too. Okay, Regal Eagle Smokehouse, craft drafts, and barbecue. For the record, I loved Sam the Eagle before he set up Regal Eagle Smokehouse in the American Adventure Pavilion, but now I love him even more because this is a really, really good counter service location. The best types of barbecue are here: Kansas City half-smoked chicken, sliced Texas beef brisket sandwich, North Carolina chopped smoked pork butt. And there's a bonus tip for you. You can also order a refreshing frozen mint julep here. Who knew barbecue and minty freshness could work together so well? Now, this barbecue is tender and well priced for what you're getting. But I get it if you skip over this if you've got a stellar barbecue place back home, but this is really, really good barbecue. And I love that you can fill up on all of those extra sauces. You can self-serve your sauces here, which is a wonderful addition in my book. I also love the mac and cheese here. Sometimes I like to hack it by putting the garlic aioli on it. Yep, that's right. Love it. All right, pros here. Best barbecue location, probably on property. You can fight Flame Tree Barbecue for this, but we'll see. It's affordable and filling as well. Sam the Eagle runs the show here. That's a pro in and of itself. Lots of indoor seating, lots of air-conditioned indoor seating here, which is fantastic. You can also refill your own drinks here, which is awesome. You've got all of those sauces that are self-serve. So lots of pros here. Cons may not be the unique cuisine you're necessarily looking for, and you're not going to eat here if you're looking for fancy dining. This is a fast food location. It's also not great for vegetarians, though there are veggie-inspired selections here. But overall, honestly, this guy's a 9 out of 10. All right, Rose and Crown Dining Room. This is in the UK Pavilion. It's one of the 2 dining locations with a fireworks dining package in Epcot. So this restaurant is just cozy. Like, you want to curl up in this dining room like a cat by the fire and nap for a few days here. And these feelings are heightened after a hearty meal of comfort food like shepherd's pie, Scotch eggs, bangers and mash. You don't have to book a reservation for the fireworks package to dine here as well. You can book a reservation for just a regular meal 60 days in advance, and you can have a great experience here. But if you do book the fireworks dining package, you'll be sat on the restaurant's lakefront patio for a good view of Harmonious. And this is, of course, connected to the Rose and Crown pub, so any British beers you want to try, you are all set to go. If you miss your advanced dining reservation window for this one, you can always try grabbing a seat at the pub, which is first come, first serve. Just, you'll have a much more limited food selection at the pub, but you'll still have that full bar at your disposal. Pros here: good fireworks dining package, great balance of both traditional and adventurous options, cozy atmosphere, decent service, and good food. Cons, not great for those looking for a lighter lunch or dinner option. Again, this is going to be a heavier meal. It also takes a chunk of time out of your day to dine here. And if you're wanting fish and chips, well, they're cheaper at Yorkshire County Fish Shop next door. To get them here, you'll be dropping $26 as opposed to the basket of them just next door for $12. But here, you're going to get a much bigger piece of fish, you're going to get those chips, and you're going to get sides as well. Overall, though, this one's a 9 out of 10 for me, too. Okay, San Angel in Ristorante. Here's a really difficult to pin down restaurant. San Angel Inn is located inside that Mexico pyramid at the Mexico Pavilion, and it is beautiful in here. It is 10 out of 10 atmosphere. Dim mood lighting, beautiful setting, a great view of the Grand Fiesta Tour, boat ride, river. There's a volcano right there. If you're the type who actually wants to relax on your vacation, you could probably chill here all afternoon with no food and be perfectly content. That being said, sometimes the food here hits a bullseye, sometimes it misses the mark entirely. Much like Coral Reef, it can be tricky to gamble on such a high-priced meal. But unlike Coral Reef, I have to say this restaurant could still be a bucket list location for you, even if it's just a one-and-done experience. So the pros here: gorgeous views, Food can be good, maybe, and quite relaxing escape from the park crowds, although the way that they've set up the tables, it is a little crowded in here, so be aware of that. Cons, the food can be disappointing, and it has been many times. It's expensive, and the service can be less than stellar. Overall, I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. If it's great, it's probably an 8 out of 10. If it's not good food, it's probably a 6 out of 10. Okay, Summerfest, are you ready for pretzels and beer, and mac and cheese? Well, make sure to grab your pretzels and beer here, if you want to, that is. Not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do. Summerfest is in the Germany Pavilion. It's a counter service location that sells, pretzels and beer. They also sell bratwurst on a fresh baked roll topped with sauerkraut if you prefer that instead. And sometimes, if you're lucky, they have that noodle gratin on the menu, which is one of my favorite hidden gems to get in Epcot. Now, this place sells jumbo pretzels that are much bigger than your typical Mickey pretzels, so they're very shareable. But if you're wanting to sit down with that pretzel and beer to enjoy it for a spell, you might have to go looking somewhere else for seating. There is some seating here at Summerfest, but it's very limited, and it's accessible to people who aren't eating there, so pretty much other folks just sit down there even if they're not eating. Pros here, jumbo pretzels for all your pretzel needs, and the best for beer connoisseurs. Cons, not a great variety, and very limited seating. Here, I'm gonna give this place 5 out of 5 out of 10. Okay, Space 220. Space 220 may not be the number one on my list, but it's certainly the number one restaurant for guests to get a reservation for at the moment. Space 220 is a signature restaurant, takes you up and away into space, 220 miles above Epcot, and lets you dine in the Centauri space station. Now, this place is undeniably cool. Seriously, those giant windows that allow you to look out at Earth and astronauts passing by makes you feel like you really are dining among the stars. The menus here include prix-fixe pricing for both lunch and dinner, which can be good if you've already planned on eating multiple courses. But if you're someone who usually only orders a main entree, then Space 220 kind of puts you in a bind and makes you pay for options like appetizers and or desserts, whether you want them or not. You can always make a reservation for the Space 220 Lounge instead to order from a menu that'll have independent prices. But keep in mind that the menu is going to be much more limited at the lounge and only feature small flight bites. But you will have access to all the cocktails and still be able to experience the Centauri space station setting to its fullest. Some of our favorite items we've ordered from here are the carrot cake, filet mignon, though there are way better steaks in the park for sure, and the Blue Moon cauliflower. Pros for this one? Out of this world views. Never going to see anything like it. Fun space-themed cocktails, and the lounge option is available for reservations, which means you can have a less expensive dish instead of paying $70+ for that prix-fixe menu. Cons, reservations go quick. You must make them 60 days before your trip. Prix-fixe menu pricing forces you to pay for more than you might want, and it's extremely expensive even for what you get. And main entrees aren't as space-themed as you might want. Better quality options can be found elsewhere. Overall, I'm going to give Space 220 a 7 out of 10. And most of that 7 is for the atmosphere. Okay, next on our list is Spice Road Table. Spice Road Table in the Morocco Pavilion really is an underrated table service gem. For one, the Mediterranean dishes and tapas here are pretty good. You'll receive a unique spread of small bites here, like the hummus with imported olives, mixed grilled skewers, and lamb sliders. And another reason, lakeside views. Views vary depending on where you're seated, but try requesting a table closer to the water when you arrive, just in case a spot is available. It's really, really beautiful. In case in point number 3, you've got a lot of different drink options to choose from here, but if you're not careful, you'll run that tab up real quick, so keep an eye on what you're spending. Spice Road Table is also one of 2 locations that offers fireworks dining, so if that's something you're interested in, you can make an advance reservation on the Disney World website or the My Disney Experience app to get a fireworks view table guaranteed. Pros here, very adventurous and tasty options. Gorgeous views, hidden gem for frequent Disney flyers who need to spice things up. Get it? Because Spice Road Table. Cons, not the best for picky eaters. Drinks and tapas can add up in price real quickly, and not every seat is going to have the best lakeside views, but you can definitely request a good one. Overall on this one, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Next on our list, Sunshine Seasons. I'm a big fan of Sunshine Seasons. Does it have the greatest food in Epcot? No. But does it have a lot to offer for this food court setting? Yes. Sunshine Seasons is the best restaurant for travel parties that are trying to cater to a bunch of different preferences, especially when it comes to fast food. This quick service offers up options for picky eaters like flatbreads and cheeseburgers, and more adventurous eaters like jackfruit gyro and the pulled pork and cheddar based land crusher sandwich. Plant-based eaters are also going to find stuff here like vegetable korma and again, that jackfruit gyro. And even the dessert is so totally a meal eaters like me can go for practically anything in the bakery case. Pros here, best for catering to a variety of tastes and wide variety of people. Also, it's a food court and there's lots of seating, so it's great for larger parties. There are affordable options here. It is a fast food location and tons of seating. Cons, not the best for foodies looking for top tier dining. And though there are more adventurous options, Epcot still has more unique dining available elsewhere. And even standard options like sandwiches, flatbreads, burgers, you got better alternatives in World Showcase for you to choose from. I think a buzzword for Sunshine Seasons would be easy. This is an easy place to eat. There's lots to eat. Everybody can find something they like, lots of seating, indoors, air conditioned. So this is probably the way to do something without a lot of hassle. Overall, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Just again, because it's easy and I'm tired. Usually in Disney World, I'm very tired. Okay, next on our list, Takumi Tei. Now, although Takumi Tei in the Japan Pavilion is temporarily closed as of the recording of this video, I still got to shout it out for being the best restaurant to dine at when it comes to elegance. It's truly a foodie's dream come true. Takumi Tei translates to House of the Artisan. True to its name, the restaurant has 5 different rooms where you could potentially be seated that represent natural elements like water, wood, earth, stone, or washi paper. The menu features several different traditional Japanese offerings like Nikomi Wagyu bone marrow, the Kamo marinated duck, and a variety of different nigiri, sashimi, and maki sushi entrees. But if you're looking for the ultimate tasting experience here, you can order from the omakase tasting menu and experience a multi-course offering of sushi, wagyu, shizuku cake, and ceremonial matcha green tea. But friends, I gotta level with you here. This will be the most expensive meal you'll eat at Epcot. The omakase tasting menu alone is $150 per person, while the a la carte options will range in steeper prices. And on top of that, the overall experience is long. Like we're talking, you're gonna have to dedicate 3 to 4 hours of your park day just to dine here. So if you want to splurge on a meal once the restaurant is back up and running, and you feel like food really is part of the theme experience for you, then this meal is going to provide you with dining that's not only mouth-wateringly good, excellent authenticity, but also dining that tells an intricate story with each course. Pros here, best option for foodies looking for an elegant meal, zen-like atmosphere. Oh, you don't even know you're in a theme park. It's so chill in there. And unique and delicious options. Cons, very, very pricey. Takes a lot of time out of your park day to experience, and it's not great for kids. Overall, 8 out of 10. Yep, same ranking as Sunshine Seasons. It totally depends on what you need and want. I say that all the time here at DFB, but my job isn't necessarily to tell you what's good or bad. It's to tell you what's going to work best for your family. So depending on your travel party, what you like, what you don't like, what your budget is, Takumi Tei could be the perfect meal for you and for your next door neighbors who have a completely different travel party budget and likes and dislikes, then they're going to love Sunshine Seasons. Or maybe you love both of those on different days. It just depends on your needs. That's the great thing about what I do. I don't have to say this particular restaurant's bad. I can say this isn't right for these kinds of people. Anyway, you get it. Moving on. Tangerine Cafe, flavors of the Medina. Now this is an interesting one. It's both open and not open. Yeah, technically this Moroccan quick service location is closed, but the building continues to be used for different Epcot festival booths. So it's like the whole Schrodinger's cat thing. The restaurant is both alive and not alive at the same time. In the past though, Tangerine Cafe has served items like shawarma and honey chocolate baklava, and I'll continue to keep you posted in case this restaurant switches back to its traditional menu and operations later on. Pros on this one, ambient, dim lighting toward the back of the restaurant, eclectic selection, definitely great for plant-based eaters, great for adventurous eaters, great for people who want to try global cuisine. The cons, it's not really open right now, and it can be off-putting for picky eaters. I'm going to give this one a 6.5 out of 10. Next on our list, Teppanyaki. Yep, Epcot even has a restaurant where the food is cooked directly at your table. Teppanyaki over at the Japan Pavilion is Epcot's hibachi grill. So if you've been to a hibachi grill back home, you know what neato things to expect here. Family-style seating, personal chefs that'll put on a show while they prep your food, tasty and fresh options, and this is a great choice if you're celebrating a special occasion. But keep in mind, you will more than likely be seated with multiple travel parties unless you have a big group. So if you're not a fan of sitting next to strangers during your meal, consider this your heads up. Pros here, a meal and a show, well-cooked and fresh dishes, really, really good steak, honestly, and should cater to both adventurous and picky eaters alike. Cons, not super different from the hibachi you have back home, like if you have a Benihana, this is pretty much Benihana. And it's not great for guests who don't want to sit next to strangers during their meal, like me. And it takes a chunk out of your park day to experience. Overall, gonna give this one a 7.5 out of 10, but I could be convinced to give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, here we go to Tokyo Dining, calling all sushi and sashimi lovers. This Japan Pavilion restaurant is for you. Tokyo Dining is a table service restaurant located directly above the Mitsukoshi department store and across from Teppan-Edo. And more often than not, this restaurant will be available for a last-minute reservation. You may even be able to walk up and grab a table on lighter crowd days. It's just really nice and relaxing here, and I'm a sucker for a good bento box. If you get a seat here around the time Harmonious is playing on the World Showcase Lagoon, you might just be able to see the show from your table, depending on where you're sitting. Even if you don't have the greatest view of the show from your table, you're always welcome to watch from the outside walkway in front of the restaurant. Pros here, reasonably priced sushi and sashimi, very, very good, easy to snag resis, and super chill interior and those lakeside views. Cons, not great for those who aren't sushi sashimi fans. There are other things on the menu, but they don't specialize in that. And it's probably not worth the money if you're not going to get sushi here. Not every seat will give you a clear view of Harmonious either, and dessert is... just don't get dessert here. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Next on our list is Travelers Cafe. Everyone, even non-Disney people, should be familiar with what's on the menu here because this is Epcot's Starbucks location. Basically, if you need a familiar coffee fix, this is your place to do that. Travelers Cafe is actually in its temporary location for the moment while Epcot is undergoing its huge transformation, but since that transformation will be a multi-year project, this location, which is right at the cusp of the Canada Pavilion, will probably be around for a bit. Pros, caffeine fixes are served up here, and it's what you know and love. Cons, same stuff you'll find anywhere else, even at home, and very long lines. Overall on this one, 5 out of 10. Okay, we're here at Tudo Gusto Wine Cellar. Time to escape into the recesses of Italy at the Tudo Gusto Wine Cellar. This is a lounge in the Italy Pavilion that serves over 200 bottles of wine and a small selection of charcuterie options as well. You can also sometimes get dishes here from the Tudo Italia menu next door. And this little cellar might be the right fit for you if you're searching for a cozy getaway in the middle of the World Showcase. It definitely is cozy. It definitely feels like a cellar. And I'm not going to lie, I love it here. But if you're not a huge wine drinker, then there are a dozen odd other locations you can choose from around World Showcase that will give you the same type of getaway you're searching for. Pros here, peaceful, quiet, not too people-y because it's very small. And it's one of the best spots for wine aficionados in Epcot. Cons, it can get crowded, especially on those busy days, and it's a little expensive for what you get. Overall, we'll give this one a 7 out of 10. Speaking of Tudo Italia, that's next on our list. Getting a stellar Italian cuisine can be difficult to come by in Disney World, but if you're going to do it right, then you might as well try something in the Italy Pavilion in Epcot, right? So this restaurant has turned over multiple times. It actually started as Alfredo's, which is a chain that started in Italy and had a location in New York City as well. And they liked to tout that they invented fettuccine Alfredo. Now the place is run by the Patina Group, which also runs the rest of the restaurants in the Italy Pavilion and several around Disney World, including Space 220 and a couple over in Disneyland too. Now the menu was created by award-winning chef and California restaurateur Joachim Splichal, and he definitely jam-packed the restaurant with authentic options here. So this is going to be heavier dishes, authentic pastas, breads, seafood dishes, cannoli. But the one thing that is disappointing here is the price tag. Again, really heavy food. Think about those Italian restaurants you used to go to when you were a kid. It's that sort of vibe, and it is pricey. Is it always good? Not necessarily always good either. So this place is hit or miss. Pros, good for a date night, authentic Italian offerings, and a beautiful dining room for a classy meal. Cons, it's pricey. It's not great for those looking for something more casual or wanting a guaranteed great meal. And there's better options in the Italy Pavilion, if you ask me. Overall, I'm going to give this one a 6.5 out of 10. You could probably bump me up to a 7 if we argued for a while, but I'm going to stick with a 6.5 for now. All right, next we're heading over to Via Napoli Ristorante e Pizzeria. No strange puffy pizzas at this table service restaurant. When you go to Via Napoli, in the Italy Pavilion, you're going to get top-notch pizza. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is actually one of my favorite pizza options in Disney World. And this is the type of pizza where the pepperoni cook into those nice little crispy cups, and the pizza itself is cooked in a massive wood oven. There's 3 of them there, and they are named after Italian volcanoes, which is awesome. Now, there are a wide variety of pizza options here, and the selection becomes pretty limited for those who aren't wanting to have a pizza party in Epcot. There are other options. There's pasta options, and there's other entrees, but really, you come here for the pizza. Now, the pros are, it is the best pizza on property, in my humble opinion. It's easy to share with the group, and it's a mix of casual and upscale vibes, so it's kind of cool. Cons, limited menu for those who aren't going to have pizza or have certain allergies. It is very expensive for this quality pizza, and the appetizers and desserts are nothing to write home about. So overall, I am going to give this an 8.5 out of 10 because I really, really do like the pizza here, and if you're going for the pizza, it's worth it. Next on our list is the Yorkshire County Fish Shop. This United Kingdom Pavilion quick service literally only serves fish and chips. That's it, so just a little chippy. Right there in the middle of the UK Pavilion. Now, it's got a few standard drink options too, but as far as main entrees are concerned, fish and chips. Want to know why it's so high on my list? Because this singular item is reliable. Now, if I'm ever like, really can't decide what I want to eat today, then fish and chips I know are going to deliver. It's fairly inexpensive. It comes all nice and golden. Plus, I love those thick cut chips that come alongside it. Nice and savory. Plus, you can grab a nearby table next to the World Showcase Lagoon and have a lovely view of the water and park while you eat. But I think it's safe to say that if you don't like seafood whatsoever, if you're looking for more menu variety, then Yorkshire's not going to be the best fit for you. There's also no indoor seating for you. But if you hate decision making and love fish, then voila, you found your match. Pros here, great fish and chips. It's affordable and it's quick and easy. Cons, just fish and chips. Not great for those looking for unique items or a variety of options or want to sit indoors and soak up the AC. And those nearby tables can fill up quickly, meaning you may have to eat on the go. We're going to rank this one 7.5 out of 10. Oh my goodness, we did it. We went through all of the restaurants in Epcot. Let's give a round of applause to all our Epcot restaurant contestants, shall we? And of course, round of applause for Bria, who wrote this 26-page script. Bless her heart. She's amazing. Now, we have ranked all of these, and remember, we did our best to tell you the pros and cons of each, because every one of these restaurants is the right restaurant for somebody. Remember to get that printable cheat sheet to help you plan your Epcot dining over at disneyfoodblog.com/everyepcot. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.